Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to our end of days, and that's a DAZE. As usual, just filming one continuous stream, just like life. So there's interruptions, or the wind knocks down the camera, which is the phone. You know, um, hopefully it still keeps running. All right. So if we get a partial thing, we'll upload it anyway because I'm like that. Um, Yeah, you guys. Wow. Such a powerful day. Such a powerful day for sure. Um, I feel like, I like to talk a lot about the spiritual stuff, the divine masculine, divine feminine. It's just because it's kind of what's in my heart, what's in my mind. One of the things that I think is really important is, what I consider the divine union. All right. Because, a lot of organized religion, and in some ways I apologize for me focusing on Christianity. That just happens to be, the environment that I find myself in and the environment I grew up in. And it seems like there's a particular, let's call it inertia, that seem to want to make Christianity like the world religion. And so, within a certain context, I'm okay with that. And in another context, of course not. Like, who would be? To me, it almost sounds satanic, doesn't it? And it just depends on your definitions, right? Like, this is also why I say it's good to, um, if one is capable of it, to stay present with somebody and see what their intent is behind what they're saying, what their energy is, what their vibration is, much, much more than what they are saying. It's what do they mean, right? Uh, so one of the things that I think is really important is, as I mentioned earlier today in my other video, is what I identified as the wounded masculine. All right, and this is a masculine which essentially is trying to control the feminine. And when I say this, it is more about energy. Okay, I'm not talking literally per se, even though it sometimes manifests that way. Because as I like to say on all of my videos, sometimes I take it for granted and I don't say it in each one particularly, but we are all comprised of masculine and feminine energy. All right, each and every one of us. All right, to deny, even like I'm a male, biological male, ain't gonna deny it. Absolutely. Um, all I have to do is look between my legs. All right, this is how I was born in this human body. I acknowledge it. For me to say, though, that I have no feminine energy would be a lie, all right? And I think this is kind of the traditional shortcoming, I think, of many religions, from that context, all right, where they have become hyper focused on the material, on the physical. And so, in this case, right, then a male, someone in a male body, masculine, hyper masculine. Any show of femininity in that case is considered evil. All right. And then the inverse is true as well. If you're a biological female, right, especially for religions, what are you supposed to be then? 100% female. All right. Total feminine energy. All right. Helpless. Or yeah, I won't go into stereotypes, but, just the typical, obedient, helpless. The man is, the head of the household and everything. And in particular ways, I could see that working. I tend to see things more in structure, though, like in how things work. I tend to see more of the masculine is like the structure, the builder, the one who is like the skeletal frame, all right, and then the feminine is all the gooey innards, and that's not a bad thing, all right, because guess what? I'm a skeletal frame with a lot of gooey innards as well, with this firm but soft outer shell, right? Some people call it skin. And isn't that beautiful, you guys? Like, I can feel things, right? But I'm also protected from the outside world. It's this beautiful blend of so many different things. And I think so uh, religion can tend to, at least from the religion from the circles I have bared witness to. All right, and I see that, and this is why I frame it as a self denial. All right, a lot of these particular religions are acting from a place of trauma, from woundedness. Whether it's a wounded feminine, wounded masculine, to me, it almost doesn't matter. If there's a part of us which is wounded, all right, driven into unconsciousness, shamed, um, condemned, what's going to happen? All right, it doesn't go away. When we start to, like, okay, and remember, everything that I say here, guess what? It's my opinion. All right, this is my view. It's just that's it is what it is. If you're tuned into my channel, it's because you want to hear it. All right. My intent, right, behind sharing my opinion isn't for people to, fall into line to what I'm saying. If anything, that defeats the purpose of what I'm saying. I'm expressing myself. If what I have to say resonates with you, if it awakens something within you, if it is confirmation for your own experience, for what you're going through, that is my intention. All right. If anything, I have been on this journey alone, all right, by myself in many different ways. I've been with different lovers, I've been with different friend groups, and to some extent, even family. And they are all on their own journey, all right? Much like you are, right? Much like I am, we're all on our own journey. The most important thing, I think, to recognize, there's a lot of important things, but for this particular video, the most important thing to recognize is claiming that responsibility. Because in claiming responsibility for oneself as the individual, we get our choice back. Like we it's like reclaiming our power. And this is what I've seen, the wounded aspects of religion do to people. It turns into like a herd dynamic, and in those typical herd dynamics, the way that I've seen it operate, at least from a psychological point of view, is who becomes the leadership in those herd dynamic style wounded environments. All right, narcissists, man. Like, and I've had firsthand experience with narcissists on many different levels, you guys. If anything, I'm as healed as I am because I've gone through many narcissistic relationships, and I left them, all right, because that's a big part of it, uh, and then claimed responsibility for my own participation in those. One of the things that I think is very defeating when healing from narcissistic relationships is putting everything on the narcissists, all right, because that is giving away your power. Like, I'm just going to put it really bluntly. It's giving away your choice, your power, your ability to create your own story onto them. And then in doing so, you remain in that position, all right, as someone where life is happening to you. And who does that sound like, right? It sounds like the narcissist a lot of the times, right? Like there's different technical terms for narcissists, vulnerable narcissist or this type or that type. But in many, many cases, they seem to have a particular pattern. And I would say the best people, or the people who have the best victim mentality, I would say would qualify as narcissists, okay? They, there's no life that happens to them like the narcissist, man. It is just, this has happened to me and this happened to me, and I'm so powerless, and it happens, and I'm not me personally, I'm being the narcissist in this case, right? And that this is ironic because these individuals then don't recognize their own power, and in not recognizing their own power, they feel justified in doing certain things. Many people I've met on the streets here, all right, seem to have no problem stealing. All right, stealing from other people, stealing from people they know, lying. And when I've been able to confront them, sometimes individually, not usually collectively, but definitely individually, what the energy and the patterns that I see are, well, I'm justified. all right? Because I'm a victim and this happened to me and this happened to me. What do you want me to do? All right, I have to steal from them. and and even in that particular mindset, wow, what a powerless, crazy place to be, where on some levels it seems like it's an escape from responsibility. All right, where right life happens to me, and so then my choices are just automatic, and then I'm not responsible for my choices. Okay, run with that story long enough, and it's going to lead to particular patterns, and those patterns don't make us happy. All right, like at least this is my experience. Okay, this is my personal experience. If you believe contrary to that, hey, run with it. All right, go for it. I claim my power. All right, I claim my power, and it is not in contrast to God. It is in alignment with God. This is what God urges us to do: is claim responsibility for oneself. Okay, this is part of my stance, man. Like 11:11. Hey, I love it, guys. Just as a side note too, it is super windy still. I have the umbrella, and I did a little test run. You can hear a little bit of the wind. It seems a little bit better than last time. And there's nothing that I can do, guys. If I'm filming outside, most days here. By the way, I'm in Hawaii. At least on this island, is super windy. It is, and it's great, you guys. Like, don't get me wrong. The wind actually keeps things cooler. Otherwise, it would be way too hot. I come from a high altitude, cold place originally, and so this heat, it's great to have this wind in so many different ways. It's great. Getting back on subject here, this is this is why it's just so important to claim responsibility. Is that it frees us, you guys, and the split that I see, what I've called the dark side of Christianity, is that it undermines our ability to take responsibility for ourselves. And in doing so, we can't give that to God. All right? Like, if I'm not responsible for my choices, then I have no ability to let go of my patterns. All right? I can't give them to God if I don't have responsibility over them. And then I can't be educated, and I can't um, get better. All right? And in many different ways, and like I said, I haven't done this in a complete vacuum. There's been people who have taught me. There's been books and people who have walked the path before me. And most of the time, though, it's not in group settings. All right. Most of the time, it isn't even one-on-one conversations. A lot of my own personal experience, and I think my soul set this up. God set this up for me too. Um, was remotely. And so I had to really fully claim responsibility for everything. Um, and it was so that I could come to this conclusion, so I could arrive here, in this state of what I would say freedom, of empowerment. And it's something which I think truly confuses certain individuals who have doubled down on the victim mindset, on the apparent polarity of duality, if you will, of the world, of Earth. And this is also why I say light and darkness in the healthy duality are masculine and feminine. All right. In the unhealthy dynamic, it's good and evil. All right. And this is why it might seem like I speak in riddles, but just like as anyone walks this path as I have, it will become just as apparent to you. You will see you will have true seeing. You will have the sight to be able to see things that nobody else has seen. All right. And I say that with a caveat. Yes, other people have seen it. All right. It hasn't been the standard. All right. Me being here on this world has been such a trip, you guys. Such a trip. It's. I don't know if you can see it all the way, but I got this shirt for a discount, man. It was so great. But it's Stitch. All right. He's the alien from the from Lilo and Stitch, the Disney movie. All right, and it's a little bit of a joke, because dang guys, I feel like an alien sometimes, like in this world where everyone is so mired in this duality, and I see it as a union of opposites and not like this war of opposites, and it creates such a different dynamic, you guys. um, and it's also why other people who are like me, right, our wounds are different than other people's wounds, okay. And this is kind of why it's just like, hey, if you're a quote unquote normie, or someone coming from that state of duality, that's okay. We all have. I mean, even me, I'm not saying that I haven't ever been there, okay? Especially being in this world, especially being around everybody else, especially being empathic, all right? It has been such a journey for me just to be able to establish the difference between my own feelings, my own perceptions, and somebody else's when I'm with them. That has been a journey in and of itself, all right? And uh, I think I'm finally at a place where it's just like, yeah, I'm pretty solid. All right, I'm pretty solid. There's always more work to do, probably, but that kind of goes by the wayside right now. This is also why I'm sharing videos, exposing myself, is because it's hard for me, you guys. I do like sharing. I do want to help people. I want to be of service to this world so much, and I've probably overshared and overgiven my energy in ways that were not healthy. And I know that a lot of people could identify with that as well. Um, and I think it's part of the reason why, I became homeless in a lot of different ways, is that I needed to experience it in so many different ways. I like just touching upon it, where it's even being homeless, all right, not having anything, I've still given to other people who are experiencing the same as me. And a lot of the times it was basically just, it was like, it felt like energetic theft. We're just like, oh yeah, sure, I'll accept things. By the way, I'll ask you for more. I'll ask you for more. You got any dollars? You got any this? You got any of that? You give it to me? Awesome. What am I going to provide for you? Nothing. Right? Maybe I'll shame you. Maybe I'll give you a hard time if you don't give me anything. Right? Being those other people. And does that feel good? Am I really helping this individual if they're acting like that? Acting from this place of entitlement? Acting from this wounded place? Like, the conclusion I've come at is no, of course not. I'm not helping this individual by giving to them like this. All right, and this doubles back to the split that I see within religion. All right, and I'm getting up, wow, already on 20 minutes, where we need to be careful where we give our attention. Okay, and that the split that I've seen in religion is that, right, we're either almost like comically evil, just stealing and thieving from people and taking what's ours and being all about me. And then there's this other side, which is I'm selfless and giving, and I'll turn the other cheek, and you can slap that side, and then you can slap the other side, and I'll just keep turning it. I'll just keep turning that cheek. What does that sound like, you guys? Let's be honest here. That sounds like a freaking codependent relationship. That sounds like a narcissistic relationship with someone who is overgiving. All right? That's what that sounds like to me. And I'm done with that. All right? Like the saying I like to say sometimes that I heard from somebody else too. So it's just like, stick a fork in me. I'm done. All right? Well done at this point. And this is my premise, okay? And this is why I am facing my fears and putting these things and saying these kind of things, even in this environment, is because it's so important. We don't have to be either side. If you're ready to have real connections with people, have a real connection with God, all right, then, kind of listen to what I'm saying, all right? And I'm talking to the narcissist there. If because I like I said, I kind of come from the other side of the fence. Just like, and if you feel like your energy's been robbed, like you keep giving, like you're tired all the time, like nothing ever seems to work out, but you try so hard in so many different ways, it's just like, we'll try in a different way. All of that love that you've been giving outside of yourself, give it to yourself. All right, and this this is what it means in the scriptures when it says, give when your cup overfloweth. Okay? It means let God pour into you. Feel that love from God. Feel that. And then when you're in a stable, good place, then it overpours. Okay? Then it overflows. And other people can take that overflowing. But when your cup's, partially full, we'll just say it like that, and then you're tipping your cup to give to other people who have holes in their cups, all right, what does that do? You're harming yourself, all right, and you're missing the love that was intended for you, and you're giving it away. And I know what that feels like. I know what that experience is all too well, you guys, right? So yeah, that's why I'm doing this, you guys. I think collectively we're done with this. And the way that I've really seen it, especially the ones who have propagated this pattern for humanity, not the narcissists, but the enablers. All right, it's the enablers, the people who have kept giving. Excuse me, confirmation burp, over and over and over, who have the real power. And so once we reclaim that power collectively, starting individually, and we, say no. I'm not going to give to you. I'm not going to entertain your worldview. I'm not going to entertain your lies that you tell yourself. And even if they're not lies, all right. Hey, you got your own perspective. I got my perspective, and guess what? They ain't jiving. All right. And who can be alone? All right. This is this premise that I'm saying. Like in so many ways, I've been like the hermit and the hermit sage, because I've had to be. Right? My energy is valuable. And I would say the same for you, especially if you're one of those enablers, just like I have been. All right? Your energy is so valuable. Don't just give it away. All right? And this is what I mean by taking responsibility. Why are you giving it away? Is it because you don't feel like you're worth it? Is there some wound inside you that needs healing? All right? Just like you probably see other people, like the people in need, the people with holes in their cups, right? That they need love. They have traumas or things to overcome. They're not going to get to a place to recognize that if you don't get to a place of recognizing yours. Okay? And I'll leave it at that. I'm going over on time anyway. So yeah. I love you guys. Thanks for being part of this, man. Thanks for being part of my healing journey, right? Just like I'm hopefully part of yours at this point, I'm honored. You guys. Thank you. And so I'll keep it at there, and stay tuned. Thanks for your support. Yeah. Peace out. Love within. And I'll catch you on the flip side.